Okay. 1600 games. Round 2. Fight! Alright, we're going to play Kero Kero Keropi. Let's play together. That's its full name, just saying. Okay. Kero Keropi is one of those games that you would encounter in large arcades where you could play a game to win prizes, and you'd get tickets from the game, or you might even get a prize directly from the game. So this game has 3 mini games. The first of which we're looking at is jump the balls in the barrels. The balls are terribly easy to jump over. The barrels are less forgiving. The hitbox is quite tight compared to the jump. Alright, so here we are jumping along and running along. You'll see there's a mini map up the top. And we're approaching the notorious gap. And I say it's notorious because a couple of people online were saying that when they were, these are Americans, when they were playing this game in Chuck E. Cheese, that gap made them cry. Aww. Anyway, so there we go. We made it without falling afoul of any balls or barrels. So I imagine we got 3 tickets instead of 2. Who knows? These games are designed to part parents with their money via their children. So we're going to part with $2 because it seems appropriate. Just for thoroughness though, we are going to have a look at the other 2 mini games. In America, they had access to the jumping one, jumping the balls in the barrels, and they also had access to this one. This one is purely a guess where the gold is hidden game. Now, I've played this enough times to get a sense of what the heck happens here. If I haven't seen Kero not get the gold the first time. Now, maybe that's a thing that happens, but I haven't seen it yet. If he gets the gold the first time, he gets 1 extra chance, like a like a freebie. So that was his freebie, and then he goes again. So the patterns I've seen are gold, not gold, not gold, gold, not gold, gold, then generally not gold, or gold, gold, then not gold. Now, one time I have seen gold, gold, gold. That's it. So I imagine, yeah, it's just a very simple game, very bright colors, designed to lure children and then part them with their parents' cash. Let's look at the last mini game. The last mini game was not available in America. I did read one person saying they had to wait until the ROM came out so that they could play the jump to get the candy game. Why you would want to play this, I don't know. Maybe it's just for closure. Maybe it's just for closure. Anyway, again, just one button. That button controls jump, but doesn't decide whether you will jump up, left, or right. That's randomly decided for you. So let's pound the button. Wow. Statistically, jumping that many times straight up and down seems a bit odd. Oh, come on. Oh. Oh. Alright, so from my understanding, if you get 80 lollies, you get more tickets. If you get 100 lollies, you get even more tickets. We're not getting any tickets, we're just pounding the button. You get the idea. Jump and get the candies. Alright, that'll do. So, Kero Kero Keropi, let's play together. What an amazing game. I'm sure it filled the coffers of the people who made it. Alright. That was game number 1. As I said, we're going to look at 3 games today. So let's look at something a bit more interesting. This next game is Hammerin Harry. If I remember correctly, it's 5:30. There it is. Now, Hammerin Harry is a typical platformer of its time with a few caveats. Alright, we've got a story. Hammerin Harry has to try and get back at this group of people that have just destroyed his dojo or whatever. Hammer time. And it is hammer time. Hammer time. Not sure if how much they had to fight the copyright on Hammer Time, but anyway. So, okay, so left, right, hit, but also up hit and down hit with this special, come on, yeah, there we go. If you time it right and you, oh good gracious, who's he? I haven't seen him before, maybe I took too long. Yeah, if you jump and then press down and hit, he will do that special hit. No, didn't time it well. There we go, that special hit. So destructible boxes, destructible all kinds of stuff along the way. Sometimes the boxes contain power-ups. I hope we can look at some of those power-ups in a minute. This game is about learning what the enemies, learning the maps and learning what the enemies do. Once you've learnt that, this game is about mastery, so mastery and timing, as well as the power-ups. We just picked up a power-up. The first power-up we picked up was the chili. That allows you to hit in a circle instead of having to direct up and down. The other power-up we got and then quickly lost was the helmet. The helmet gives you an extra life without having to restart from, essentially a shield, without having to restart from the save point. So most enemies are one hit. Mini bosses like the one we just saw require a couple of hits. This is a boss, so this is a level boss. He has a pattern of picking up and throwing exactly what you can see. You can hit them back at him, which then does damage. If he hits you with them, you die. I don't want to be hit this time. Gotta watch my time though. You can hit him directly. Oh, God, damn it. Alright, you can hit him directly, but I prefer to keep my distance and just hit the things back at him when he throws them at me. If you time it properly, you don't need to do anything other than just return fire. Don't get your things. There we go. Alright, so from here I should just be able to hit them back at him. If I don't screw up, it'll just be the end of the level. Come on, don't screw up. Alright, end of level. So there's some sound bites in there. Hammerin Harry, Let's Get Busy, and Hammer Time. And, yeah. I think that's the majority of the game. There are some interesting things about this in that the game company, IREM, did produce some really interesting games. I mean, this is an interesting game, you know, when it's placed in the world of games for its time. It's got some interesting physics elements that were, I guess, experimental. It's got some annoying enemies that do odd things. And there's lots of little things to discover about this game as you play it. So I guess that's nice. So we're going to see a power-up. There's a power-up to make your hammer bigger, which has a bigger hitbox and does more damage. I really dislike this little jump here. I'm really not very good at this little jump here. Don't know why I'm so bad at it. Anyway, alright. So we're just going to play a little bit further to see another boss, and then I think we'll say, let's leave this one alone. If you want to see a full playthrough, it's been played through by many other people. Interesting side bit, this game had further games in the series released on different platforms. We're not going to bother going too in depth with them, but you know, they did happen, and it did have a fairly big following. Just, I never saw this game in Australia. Maybe it did come to Australia, but I never saw it. For some kind of exploration completion. Whoa! Okay. So he does a short lunge and a long lunge. I'm gonna watch that. this. I think that's why I've died so many times. I think if I was in the arcades and this was the only game available, I'd probably pay more attention and work on getting the algorithms down pat. I mean, you know, there are some really interesting things about this. I find the graphics really good. You know, there's a cute blockiness to them. I just don't personally find them appealing. I just think they're good. Alright, so I think there's 4 stages. He goes down to the docks, then he goes and fights the big bad. Here's an interesting little tidbit. This rolling of the pipes, that's an example of where it's unscripted and it's more about the physics of rolling the pipes. Anyway, I think we've explored most of what Hammerin Harry has to offer. Let's move on to the next game. Hammerin Harry. Could give it a score out of 10, but let's not bother. Just not a game that super appeals to me. The next game one kind of is a game that really did appeal to me when it came out. And this one is called Midnight Resistance 782. Now, Midnight Resistance was unique for a number of reasons. Now, before we start the game, I just want to point out this game console, Game On Friends, was touted as having 1,660 games. Now, on this page of 10 alone, you can see there's 2 copies of Midnight Resistance. Pardon me, I have seen no difference between those, and also you can see Mighty Pang, 2 versions of Mighty Pang. So I've called this 1,600 games. I'm hoping there are 1,600 games, but if not, it's the title. Let's hope there aren't too many repeats. So this game was produced by Data East, which produced a whole host of games in the late 70s and 80s, and some in the 90s. Before kind of winding down the company, and the company ended up... what did the company end up doing? Yeah, they sold some really weird crap towards the end of their life, but this was in their heyday. Now, Midnight Resistance is an interesting game for several reasons. One, when it came out in the arcades, the joystick had 8 directions. That is, you could shoot in 8 directions. You could move left, right, up, down. But you could also do this. See how the gun is shooting in 8 different directions? And that was achieved by the joystick having a twistability, I guess. You could twist the joystick in 8 directions. And the joystick itself was like a octagonal prism instead of being the, you know, the classic just ball on a stick. This was an octagonal prism on a stick, and you could reef it around in 8 different directions. And I must say, the octagonal stick was so much fun to use. You'd really literally reef it around and go click, 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 really quickly, and that would allow you to shoot in different directions. Now, on this version, you actually have to use 2 different buttons to choose the 2 different directions. So rotate one way, rotate the other way. I have not mastered this. It's really quite irritating, because if it was the 8-directional rotational joystick, I would just be reefing it around. That was part of the fun of playing this game. Another thing that was really fun about this game is it's a 2-player, like a proper 2-player game where you'd have somebody else on the screen playing with you. There was another thing about this game that just happened then. I don't know if you heard it, but he said, "Pick a weapon." That was something that became like a meme, I guess. Something that I'd go around quoting if I had a choice of anything, choice of dessert, choice of like what to do next. I'd say, "Pick a weapon," and then I'd use whatever resource. In this case, I have to use my resources of my keys. Hurry up. Yeah, fine. I'm using my keys to pick things. I think we'll pick... Oh, damn it. I ran out of time to pick another thing. Alright, so that was fun too. Pick a weapon was fun. Collecting those keys and keeping them until the end of the level so you could then spend them on weapons. I liked that you could buy 500 extra rounds for your weapon. Oh, sorry everyone. Alright, this game was so much easier to play with the reef around joystick. It's not as fun having to rely on... sorry, full auto. It's not as fun having to rely on the buttons because I think my reaction time with the buttons is not nearly as quick. But anyway, we'll try and use them. Yeah, okay, the enemies were interesting. This is another game like Hammerin Harry where you get to know the algorithm of the levels and you pass the levels. That's pretty much all it is. The algorithms were fun, and the good thing about these types of games is they're about mastery. You get to know the levels, you get the timing right, and you keep playing. They're not real. There are no real surprises. There's less of that random, less random ganking that happens in games that we'll see along the way. Yeah. So, I mean, my skill levels are not what they once were. My memory of the actual algorithm of each level is not what it once was, but we're not here to master it, we're just here to explore and reminisce a bit. If I feel like mastering, I'll post that in a different link. We're just going to have a look at one more boss and maybe just finish this level, just for the sake of exploring. Pick up one more weapon and just look at that. Okay, there's one more thing I do want to do once we complete this level, and that is there's like an extra like type of upgrade you can get, and so I just want to, for the sake of exploring all avenues of this game, we'll get to that. Also, I just like killing this boss. So let's kill this boss. See, you know, just can't get the positioning thing right. Now I'm going to have to get ready to jump down because you have to actually get below this boss to complete it. So first above, now below. Let's see if we can get down before. No. Oh dear. Sorry everyone. Now I have to pound the keyboard because I've lost full auto. Damn it. See that beautiful core that you have to destroy? Now it's destroyed. Let's get out of here. Yeah, I do know for a fact that this is the kind of game, and I do vaguely remember, that I would really enjoy because you could play with random people who just turn up, and if they knew how to play, it was a joy to play with them. If they didn't know how to play, it was still fun because you watch them die and think, oh my god, what is this person doing? And yeah, you'd meet up with friends to just literally just play this game. It was just one of those games that was just fun. Alright, so there's a shotgun there. I think I want the shotgun just for the shits and gigs of the shotgun. And then we'll also get maybe the HM. Homing missile. So we're going to look at homing missile, just to show the... God damn it. I'm going to continue, just so we can look at homing missile. Do I lose the homing missiles? Homing missile! Yeah, no. Okay. So to use these extra weapons, you would press the direction up and press fire. And you see in the inventory we've got 5 left. Let's just use them up. Alright, I think I'm done with this game. Shotgun does not look like a shotgun, does it? Looks like just shotgun shells, I guess. Usually the convention in games is if you've got a shotgun, you've got some kind of spread. Anyway. So that was Midnight Resistance. The game gets very odd towards the end. You actually have to rescue your parents and siblings by using keys at the second last level, and they're trapped where you would normally pick up weapons at the end of the level. So that's an interesting side. And the graphics get, so the rendering of the graphics gets very odd towards the end. So it's fun, but I'm not going there today. Thanks for joining me for round 2 of 1600 games. I haven't looked at what comes next, so that'll be exciting for me. Again, if you are interested in a particular game that might be here, that you remember from your arcade youth, let me know and I'll have a look at it. Alright, that's it for now. Bye. Winners don't use drugs. Oh yeah.